Hey everyone's Phil Shot back on another video, and today we are doing the updated tier list for the month of May. Now, the tier list has largely remained the same because there hasn't really been any new content in the game. There have been a few changes to some characters that I want to go over, simply due to the fact that we found new additional comps that are really good for them. And so I want to really specifically mention those. Other than that, we're just going to be going over some of the new characters. I have done some testing on some of the older release characters, 2 to 3, 4 weeks old. And then my initial ratings for Tashir, who's just released a couple of days ago. Let's jump into it. Alright, so we're here on to the tier list. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a part of my XP Jelly calculator spreadsheet. The tab right here, it's going to be right there, the tier list. It has the date on there when I last updated it. So if you're ever curious when I actually updated this list, you obviously know from some of the characters that are on there. But if you're ever curious, the date is on there at any time. So what has really changed? Well, not much, as I mentioned. I do want to mention there's a few comps here that we ended up finding out about. And with the stage 14 dungeons that we kind of flushed out over the last couple of weeks. So really quickly, I wanted to mention Celestial Cain, who's a part of the new Ash dungeon. A lot of them are really solid, as well as Queen, as well as some other places. He actually has been becoming a much bigger staple than he was before because of his just passive cleanse, his invincibility. You could really perform combo teams with him really nicely. And then the second one I really wanted to mention today is going to be Axul. Where is this guy? He's going to be down here. There he is. Axul. I actually put him as a 10 for Ash, and the reason for this is he actually unlocks a speed Ash 14 comp for you. Assuming you do not have a lot of the popular legendaries, you could easily run it comparatively to some of the other characters that are much more difficult to attain. Something like a Brand, which is the other faster comp, or something like a Gangelo. This allows you to run 2-minute Ash comps without that, which I think is extremely important if you are trying to progress into farming insanely quickly in the end game. So I definitely want to mention those two. Those are really important. On the other hand, there isn't really much to talk about other than the new characters. So let's go and dive into some of the new characters here. Now, since my previous update, there have been 4 new characters, I believe. There has been Opal, there has been Tashir, there has been Baklar, and there has been Dark Dragon Asrina. Now, Tashir is a very new character, so that character, keep in mind that these initial ratings are sort of under speculation because we could find some other places for her to be really solid in. But the other ones I would say are decently flushed out. Obviously, there may be something that I haven't thought about, but I think that they're overall pretty solid ratings. And we're going to start off with Baklar. Obviously, he's the top of the list because of the alphabetical order here, or rather the faction order here. So right off the bat, I'm not a huge fan of Baklar. He's a fire single target damage dealer. You all know I'm not even a huge fan of Garel, even though Garel is significantly better than Baklar in my opinion. And his kit just is really awkward because he literally is a Tulpa counter in my mind because his passive seems like it's purely built for that. Obviously, his passive can be used against like Brand and such. But when are you fighting Brand? Very rarely. So across the board, I have him as a 7 for a campaign. You're not going to be dealing a ton of damage, or not like a ton of AoE damage, which makes him slow. His arena is just not there. Like you're not going to want to use this guy as a single target fire damage when you have someone like Garel available to you. And even if you do not have a single target fire damage dealer, I don't think he's going to deal enough damage to actually warrant this. I actually think that he's going to be solid for the guild boss with his multi-attacks, with his defense down, and all that good stuff. The only problem is that guild boss is very trivialized by Urzag now, and so you just walk through every guild boss with Urzag, and that's the only thing you should use for your guild boss comps if you happen to have him. Void Tower, not very impressed. Endless Trials, again, not very impressed. Tulpa, he's an absolute beast. This guy's going to give you the defense down too. He's going to have that specialized passive for the Tulpa boss, pretty much. And then he's going to have the multi-attacks on his ultimate, the ignites. All that stuff is really solid for Tulpa. Absolute monster. Other than that, the only other place I really could see him in is like the ability Crystal Dungeons. And his trait is okay to upgrade. But definitely 6-star him if you're going to go ahead and use them. Next one I want to talk about is Opal here, and I think Opal's much more exciting. I think all 3 of the other ones are much more exciting, but specifically Opal and Tashir here. So Opal here, I think she's actually solid for campaign. If you're kind of earlier on or mid-game, you're not going to have the damage to just speed through it. So Opal's actually really amazing because you're generally going to kill off someone, and then she's going to stack her passive over and over again, which just gives you a lot more damage. So I actually think she's really solid, but she falls off hard on the late game because she just takes so much time. Arena defense, I think she can be used. I just don't have the spot for her yet. So I have her as a 7 because I think her passive can be pretty awesome in it. And offense, I think that she can be really, really solid as well for additional single target burst. I think she's also very good for Guild Boss. I think that she's a little bit better than Baklar is for the Wood Guild Boss, for the Fire Guild Boss. But again, Urzag. That's really the only thing I have to say about Guild Boss at this point. Void Tower, I think she can fit in, but not really. Super great. Endless Trial, she's going to be amazing because she's going to be joint attacking, and she could duplicate her attacks if you get some of the artifacts, which is really, really amazing. Ashe, I think she's an absolute 10. She unlocks another speed comp if you do not have Gengallo or Brand. And so I think that warrants a 10 for Ashe. She's one of the reasons why I'm going to be able to run a fast Ashe comp under 2 minutes, which is really, really nice. She's also really solid for the Wraith and Lizard. And again, their ability Crystal Dungeon, so who really cares about that? And then we have the next character, which is Tashir. This is the brand new character. I think she's actually really, really interesting and really amazing. I think she's very focused on the PvP. I do want to mention one thing. A lot of people in the comment sections of my videos and the people who have tested her more significantly, they have been mentioning that the shield that she places on herself is 30% of her max HP shared with the rest of her allies, which is pretty insane. That is a huge shield because she has a high base HP, and you're generally going to build her with HP and defense. So I actually have her as a 10 for arena offense and defense. Generally, when I'm running offense, I actually want some scenarios where I have some tanking as backup because I run Bruiser comp, so I really like her for that. Now, I don't think she's going to fit in a lot of other places, to be honest. I think she could be an 8 for the Guild Boss. I think she could be used as a tank where your Urzag can just carry the fight. I think that's going to be kind of interesting because you can have that shield and the damage sharing as well. I think she can be very good in Void Tower tank comps as well. But, you know, do you really want to build someone else for that? And then the rest is kind of average to above average for the ability Crystal Dungeons. I think she can maybe fit into Queen here because she is tanky, and that's really all you need is just to keep your poisoners alive. So maybe some potential there. Definitely, though, not super great outside of PvE or PvP, I think. And I don't think her trait is amazingly stellar either. Next one up is Asrina, Dark Dragon Asrina here. And I'm really sad about this one because I actually think that she's one of the worst off LD legendaries here. And I really don't like her that much. Now, I know a lot of people are enjoying her. She's one of the coolest looking characters in the game. I just don't think she does enough. And I think that her kit has some awkward debuffs in it. So first off, in campaign, I'm not going to use her in campaign. I think she's literally purely a arena hero here, except for one specific scenario here. And that is going to be arena at a 9 for defense. I think she can be good in a stun set, tanky, applying unhealable to make sure that your character slowly grind them down, as well as stripping and stunning is very, very good. Arena offense, I don't see why you'd use her on arena offense. I think that she can fit in, I guess, 2 places here, and that is going to be Void Tower for a specific unhealable counter against some characters. That could come in handy quite a bit. And the second place is Queen. I think that if you build her tanky with a lot of focus, her constantly stripping the buffs off the Queen boss is actually really useful. Not only that, but her ultimate is on a 4-turn cooldown, which is exactly what you'll want if you want to time it for like a Hakrin comp. And if you are interested, I run a Virgil comp, so it's Virgil, Zatlux, Hakrin, and Santis. And Virgil removes all the buffs, as well as having the AoE. That way he can proc the extra damage for the second wave. Dark Dragon Asrina here could do the exact same thing, as well as applying Unhealable to the boss, perhaps, which could speed up your runs. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it will. I have my Virgil comp running around 330 to like 450, depending on how unlucky or lucky I get. But Dark Dragon Asrina, I think, could speed it up much more consistently. So I think that's a very, very interesting place for her. Other than that, she's very, very kind of bland, in my opinion, and not really being used anywhere. Her ultimate is just AoE unhealable because Ignite is useless. So really, you're using her for the strip and the unhealable debuff. Those are the only reason you'd want to use her. And unfortunately, there's not really many spots for her. So that is pretty much the updated tier list. If you have any other suggestions or you disagree with one of the ratings, please be sure to drop it in the comments down below. I'm usually updating this. I don't do a full review of the whole thing until I do every month. But if anyone has a specific suggestion, then I go ahead and go back and look on it just in case I missed something. And I do update all the spreadsheets regularly. I've been trying to. There's a lot of them. So like I updated the damage or the gear sets for the champions and the gear stats that I'd recommend for the champions. So I think Dark Dragon Asrina, yeah. So Dark Dragon Asrina is in here as well. Those are the type of stats that I'd recommend on someone like that. So if you're curious, you can really check those out. But that'll be it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed the updated tier list, and I will see you for the next one.